piano lesson number 38. So today we're going to be talking about rolled chords. Now, I'm going to start talking about where you'd use them, how to play them, how they should sound like, some tips on learning them and whatnot. So let's get started. The first thing I wanted to talk about is where would you actually want to put a rolled chord? Well, that's a good question. So, there's basically two spots. One is if the chord that you're trying to hit in the piece that you're playing is too big for you. Now, this might happen if you're playing Rachmaninoff or Scriabin. Those two tend to write some pretty big chords, and if you're playing those, you probably already know how to do them. But say you come to a spot where you need to roll a chord or you're trying to do something and it just isn't big enough and you're wanting some advice on it. So that's what the lesson's for here today, kind of to explain the whole thing. Okay, so that's one use of a rolled chord. If you have too big of a chord, like say you're trying to hit like this, right? Too big for your hand. So you could do this. Usually you want to practice the big rolls to make sure you get good accuracy. Just like I messed up there. It's because it's almost like learning something like muscular memory for your hands there. So that's one use, is for a big chord that you can't reach with your hand. I look like I have big hands. Something different about me is I actually have really, really thick webbing or long webbing. So if you look at my fingers, it looks like they're this long, right? But look, when I bend my finger, like this, my fingers actually are that long. So I've got at least about an inch or longer of webbing. So it looks like I have a huge palm, but my fingers are like that. So I'm kind of like, I wish I had a big reach, but I just don't. I have like an average reach. I can hit about a 9th, and then 10th is just stretching. So it's a little bit bigger than some people, but it's still not like I have Rachmaninoff hands. And I think if I didn't have that webbing, then I'd be like, I could maybe hit another key or two, and then I'd be like, yeah. But anyway, I always tell people I'd be a really awesome duck. Yeah. Okay, anyway. So basically, rolled chords for too big of a chord, or the other option, now here, you could do this for anything. It's to give an effect, or say you're coming up to some climax, right? You're just playing some piece, and then you're coming right up to the beginning, to the end of the phrase, and you want to like add something more to it, so you could roll that chord. I can't think of an example off the top of my head. I know there's a Beethoven in grade 3, but I don't have it memorized, so I'd have to get it out of the book. But anyway, basically, if you're coming up to it, it's like do-do-do-do-do-do-do-do, something like that. Or you could be hitting a chord like dun, 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 like that. Oh, actually there's a spot in my pas de deux a while ago. At the end it has a rolled chord because like this just doesn't sound good. Well, it sounds okay, but I mean, see how you're like listening for that last note? The last note there just draws you in, and it kind of gives it a more interesting ending, at least in my opinion. Anyway, so that's a little bit about rolled chords, the two main uses for them, and I'm sure you could find many other uses for them that I haven't talked about, so go crazy with that. Now, next thing I'm going to do is show you what it looks like in the music score. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at what it looks like on the sheet music. So as you can see, this is Brahms in A-flat major. It didn't actually have the title printed out, so I kind of just threw it in there with my own handwriting. I know, this is actually years ago, but anyway. Okay, so these squiggly little lines here, let's zoom in. Okay, so as you see, this squiggly little line to the left of the notes right there. My finger looks all fat on camera. Anyway, okay, so the squiggly little line goes up, and it's to the left of the group of 3 notes here. So we have an E flat, because there's a flat there, and then we have an A flat and just a C with a staccato above. So how we're going to do that, see, if there wasn't a staccato, then we wouldn't be holding the notes after. We would be holding the notes after. It would sound like this. Now because there is a staccato, we're going to go like this. Like that. The difference is, this is what it looks like. Whoops. This is the difference it looks like. This is without the staccato. You're going to hold it. This is with the staccato. Okay, anyway. So that's the bar. The squiggly little lines. The roll. Oh, I can't think right now. You guys are thinking, oh, what is he doing? Anyway. Okay, so that's that. That's what it looks like. Now, being played, you'd start from the bottom and you go to the top. So with the pedal, it would sound like this. It sounds... Sorry, I shouldn't be changing there. Just like that. Okay? I don't think I kept the viewfinder on. Oh man, I feel like I'm doing this horribly right now. I'm not having one of those good days today. Today's Valentine's Day actually, so happy Valentine's Day. Anyway, so that's what a rolled chord looks like. Let's just move on to the next one. Okay. So the next part is focusing on the raw meat of the whole thing. Okay, so basically what we want to look for here is the note should be going down. I guess listen would be a better word. So we want to listen basically for an even tone and tempo when we roll the chord. So what you can start out doing if you're not familiar with rolling chords yet, this is what you can start off doing first. Take your hand and stick it in a blender. No, don't do that. Do this. I'm joking. Don't actually do that. If you do, I take no legal responsibility. It's not a good idea unless you don't like your hand, but okay, anyway. So, what you're going to want to do is take your hand and then turn it from side to side with your wrist. Kind of like you're opening a doorknob, and just let your fingers go down like this. Back and forth, back and forth. Now listen so that they go down evenly, okay? And then use your arm. You don't have to be too good at it. You don't have to be like crazy good, because you want to eventually migrate down to the piano. So, the next thing you'll do is you'll just do a regular, just comfortable C major chord. Hopefully it's just basically C to E to G to C. Okay? Now, what I'm going to get you to do is start with your thumb. While holding your thumbs down on C still, hit your second finger down, then hit your third finger down, and then your fifth. Do it really slowly. Just get an aim for a nice sound right now and evenness. We don't want this to happen. Like that, okay? Just try holding it. Okay, hold down the notes. Now the next time, do it like this, where you're just playing each note and letting go as you go up in kind of legato way. Then what you'll do is you'll gradually speed it up. It's going to take some time, or maybe it might not if you're pretty experienced. By the way, I wouldn't really recommend doing this until you've at least probably played for, like a year or so. Well, maybe not a year. Some people learn really quickly. Like once you're doing like grade 3 level stuff. Like once you can do a really, really easy Beethoven piece or something like that, then you can start doing it. And just don't overdo it when you're starting, because you might get a little bit of pain if the chord's really big. And the last thing you want to get is stress, okay? You want to keep really, really relaxed. Relaxing is the key to everything and everything. Life, piano, music, work, driving, sleeping, and such. Okay, so just take a chill pill and just relax, man. Okay, anyway. So we're just going to rotate from left side to the right side. Okay? It's just like this. Now, once you get better at that with just the wrist, then you'll just use your arm too. What I think of is that it's like I've got my thumb here, and I'm going to draw like a circle with an arcing rainbow or something with my hand, and my arm moves freely, and it's finding the pot of gold at the top of the key, like that. Like that. You want to make sure that you're doing it even when you go faster, and also make sure that no notes are sticking out. Like, you don't want this to happen. Okay, that would be bad. Or like this. You don't want one note louder than all of the other ones. Like that. That would be horrible. Like that, or rhythmically and tonally, and also relaxation. So notice how I'm just going over and over those 3 points. It's because it's really important. Then you'll want to use arm. So it starts from the shoulder. So imagine kind of like when you have a garden hose, or like you're using a towel to whip someone. Okay, so imagine you have that. That's sort of the feeling of what you do with your arm. It's like whatever happens in your shoulder eventually gets reproduced in your arm. So you're going through the keys in a circular motion eventually. So if you watch this, pretend that my wrist is drawing something in midair, and you can see that. Watch my wrist. I'll try to slow it down. So see how my wrist draws something, and that opens up. Anyway, so you're using your wrist, keeping it relaxed, just moving through it. So if you can do all that, it'll definitely help. Another couple things that you could do is, say you have a big rolled chord in the bass or something, right? Right? And you just can't get through, say it's like hugely massive, like that. So what I would do is I'd break it down into like an add a note kind of thing. So I'd practice going back and forth between these 2 keys, like this. Now once I could do that, like eyes closed and blindfolded, then I would go to the next 2 keys. So trying to listen, or not listen. It's like really hard to describe. It's like in my head, it's like I imagine that I'm not seeing anything. Like even with my eyes open, I'm not seeing what's in front of me. All I'm doing is I'm feeling the distance between the 2 keys, kind of like with my muscle memory. And then my muscles see where the key is, if that makes any sense. Oops. See, I need to practice that more if I wanted to get it good. It's kind of a bit of a jump. But then what you do eventually, if you could get it all together, yeah, you normally wouldn't have a rolled chord this big. This would actually be kind of ridiculous. But I was just showing you ridiculous for that whole point, is that if it's really ridiculous, just take it 1 note at a time. And using like a means to like blindfold yourself so that you can't see anything and do it is good, because chances are when you're rolling this, you're going to be playing something else at the same time. And you do not want to be going, oh, okay, yeah, while you're doing this, okay? So keep doing this until you have it down so well that you can like do it blindfolded. My cat came to say hi. Yes. Anyway. Okay. So, I hope that's enough information for you guys. Take care. Well, that's it for today's lesson. I hope you enjoyed everything I talked about, and that you found it useful information. So keep practicing and take care. See ya. Bye-bye.